Hello, Flyer fans. It's exciting to have Coach Shauna Green here. As traditionally during a normal year, we would have a chalk talk at the arena with our season ticket holders. And unfortunately, 2020, 2021 is far from normal, but we do have a virtual chalk talk. And Coach, thanks for so much for giving us a few minutes today. I guess before we get into this mailbag of some season ticket holders giving us a couple of questions, how are things going? I know your group has been out for a little bit here, and it's been a challenge. But how are the Flyers?
Alex, we're doing as well as we can be doing. Obviously, everyone knows we've been on pause, but excited to get back tomorrow. We got through testing and we'll be back tomorrow with our whole team together and on the court and preparing and set to play at Bonaventure on Sunday. So hopefully, we can get through this week and get through all of our testing so we can get that game in Sunday at noon.
Yeah, the Flyers sitting up top of the A10 standings. It's a good thing. And I'm really looking forward to Sunday's game against the Bonnies. We got a couple of questions here that a few season ticket holders were able to send in, and I'm going to start with David. David says, "Can you tell us how Tenon Magassa ended up at Dayton? Is there a Jody connection?" And I think what David's referring to there is Jody Corneli Sigmundova, who you're very familiar with, an all-time leading shot blocker in UD history, and well, you got another shot blocker from France.
Yeah, I've told this story about how Tenon got here a few times, and it's really one of those, I think, you kind of have to get lucky sometimes. And with COVID, it kind of maybe made it all work out. But the beginning of last season, our men's assistant, Ricardo Greer, had come to us, and he's really good friends from his time overseas and playing and all of that with T's club coach, or one of her coach and her mentors over there. So we had gotten video and watched her, and obviously after watching her and just seeing her what she's capable of doing, we were very interested. So we had gone through that, had talked to her throughout all last year, never able to get over there because one season ended when we were going to go over, when she was going to come over here for an official visit, COVID hit. So she committed over the phone without ever meeting us, in person, without ever stepping foot on Dayton's campus. And so, I appreciated they had a trust for what we were doing, and just super excited to have her here. I mean, she's just an unbelievable person, has grown so much on and off the floor, and she probably will be challenging Jody's shot blocking record. And they do know of, Jody knows of T, but there's not a direct connection between them now.
That's really cool, and it's really kind of amazing how Tenon's kind of come onto the scene here, and especially that Rookie of the Week recognition. Let's talk about your freshman class. David has another question. He says, "Freshman class seems really big. Does that cause an issue later down the line? How do you balance things?"
Yeah, I mean, some of that also was from not our own doing, because some of it was from some injuries from last year. So it even added to an already big class, and that class was bigger because of some injuries in the, in the previous couple of years and some transfers. So, I think it'll all kind of shake itself out as the years go on. But it is a really big class. I mean, if you look at, we had 5 true freshmen, and then 3 with Malia transferring in, and Des and Najee. So 8 kids that have never played in our program before. That's more than half your team is freshmen technically. So hopefully, like I said, it'll kind of all work itself out. But there's certain things you just can't avoid. And I mean, they're all really good players, and I'm excited about, our young guys and the future and what they're going to do here throughout their Dayton careers.
I want to kind of ask a question in addition to what we heard from David in regards to your seniors, because you have some really experienced seniors.
Mm-hmm.
How's that been with this younger group and trying to balance the old with the new?
Yeah. it's been a really interesting, you know, time with trying to mix them together and also dealing with COVID. So this is not your normal season. We didn't have our normal summer. We didn't have our normal preseason. So I really have relied on our three seniors, and I mean, there's not another three, you know, three kids that I would trust more, especially without me being to have as I don't have as much contact with them as I would normally have per se in a normal season. So those guys have done an unbelievable job in terms of their leadership. You know, over at the apartments, their quarantines and making sure everyone's doing what they need to do. They know the program, they know expectations, they know what it takes to win. So our three seniors have just been absolutely critical to keep this team together through a lot of adversity throughout this year.
Let's go to Susan. She sent in the question, and this goes back to your seniors. The NCAA granted another year of eligibility to players due to COVID-19. When do the seniors have to decide if they'll play another year, and how does that affect recruiting?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those, I think, once in a lifetime things. Hopefully that'll ever happen with the NCAA just saying, hey, pretty much this is a free season for everyone. Because I just don't know, who knows how it's going to all play out. You see teams opting out, you see players opting out. So I think it was the right thing that the NCAA did. Now, in regard to when they have to tell us, there's really not a timeline. And I don't expect any of our three seniors to tell us, you know, really till the end of the year and see how they feel physically. The kind of the unique thing for us is we have three fifth-year seniors. These are 23, 24-year-olds that have already been in college 5 years. So it's going to be more than, you know, do they just want to play again? They all are going to have their masters. You know, do they physically feel like they can do it again? And then obviously the mental part. So I don't expect an answer from our guys until the end of, you know, after season. And I wouldn't expect them to tell me that. Now, how that affects recruiting, it's really not going to affect next year because we already have our kids and they're just going to allow you to have over 15 for next year. It may affect, depending on if they stay or not, it may affect, you know, a few years down the road, but it shouldn't affect next year at all.
We're really excited to be talking with Coach Shauna Green of the Dayton Flyers. As traditionally we have a chalk talk at the arena with our season ticket holders, but this year we're not able to do that. But we're happy to have a virtual chalk talk as we're taking some questions. And here's another question from Rodney. He says, how has COVID changed the workout routines? I would also like to think, especially with what we saw in December and then what you guys have been dealing here with recently.
Yeah, once we're in our practice setting, it hasn't changed a lot if we're able to practice. You know, some teams I know are, you know, breaking it up and doing this. I mean, with us in our medical staff, if they say if one of us has it, one of our players has it, we're going to be all shut down anyways because they're practicing all together. And basketball is not like football, right? Where football you can go, you know, quarterbacks in film sessions and so on and so forth. So we're practicing all together when we're able to. Now, when we are in a quarantine, which unfortunately we've been in numerous throughout the season, that's when, you know, we're in strict protocol of what we can and cannot do. And obviously during quarantine, our kids that have not had COVID are really, they're isolated in their apartments, where the kids that have had COVID, we have been able to work them out in small groups and some individual workouts. And a lot of our coaches have had it already as well. So we're able to be around each other.
And dealing with the pandemic, this is another question. I don't know if it's from the same Susan, but the question is, with the amount of games that have been canceled, do you have any idea how the A10 will determine a women's basketball regular season champ?
Yeah, Susan, I want to know that. I want to know that as well. There's really not, I don't know how it's going to be done. I know at one time they were talking, it was winning percentage. I think that's going to really, they're going to wait and see how many games we get in and see what it looks like, and then kind of go from there. So what I tell our team and what my mentality is, and it doesn't change like any other year, any game you play, you got to try to win it, because you don't know, you may not be able to make up a lot of these games. And So right now we're 5-0, and hopefully we'll be able to play on Sunday. And we're just trying to go 1-0 every game, which is our mentality and our mindset, COVID or not COVID. But we're just going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. And that's out of our control, how they're going to determine all that. We just got to try to win games.
And the Flyers are looking to take on St. Bonaventure for Sunday. And Coach, I know you kind of just answered this, but Mark asked 4 conference games postponed, with 7 games already scheduled for February. Will there be enough time to squeeze in 4 more games? And having 14 days off, what's the team doing differently to prepare for what could be a really tough schedule come February?
Yeah, and those are things I don't even want to think about the schedule in February. But we practice, like I said, tomorrow, right? We'll get back, and then you gotta work yourself back. You can't just come in tomorrow and have a normal practice like we did 2 weeks ago, but while we were preparing for Davidson, because we've been in quarantine and not able to do our normal workouts. So it's going to be an easing them back this week, and then take those last couple Friday Saturdays of really prepping for St. Bonaventure. But we need to get ourselves back in shape. We need to get just a feel back together. And then in terms of, are we going to be able to squeeze in those games? I know that the league is looking at possibly, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the days that they're trying to potentially squeeze in games. So we could have, a week where we're playing Friday, Sunday, and then coming back and playing a Tuesday, Wednesday. And I know they've also, looked at going, let's say we play, Fordham that we missed last week. We may play them back-to-back days in order to get 2 games in. So we just got to be ready for everything. None of it's going to be fair, and you got to throw fair out the window this year. Whenever we can get a game in, to tell you the truth, I'll do it. If we're playing back-to-back, we'll do it, because we need.
But I think we saw that too in regards to your game getting canceled with Fordham, but then Fordham being able to go out to St. Louis and just try and get something in, which they were able to do.
Yep.
We got a question here from Raphael. He says, your brand of basketball has always been fast paced. This season doesn't seem to be that case. Is it more deliberate? And that's why the scoring's down. Now seeing the games in the 60s, is this change because of personnel, or is it another reason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to run, and we want to play up tempo, and that's kind of our brand. Phoenix, our transition is a huge part of what we do. And we know we want to still play fast. That is not, it's not deliberate. We don't want to try to slow it down. Now it's a little bit different because we only played 2 non-conference games, and then we were right into conference. And if you look at the past, how many years, normally the scores are lower once we get into A10 play. People know us. People are really, different teams scheme different ways to try to slow us up. You saw Davidson and how they picked us up to try to slow down our break. People will do different things. So I think that's normal, just with how well we know each other in conference play. And I also, as we've had a lot of time to break down film and of our 5 games, of conference play, our transition it's not where we want it to be. And I think you also got to look at having so many new people in the program. It's something that it could take a year or 2 before a lot of our younger guys really get in a flow. Like you saw when Jenna Burdetta, Javana, and Alex and all those guys, when they were seniors, the system takes a little bit to truly understand. And you need everyone to be on the same page with this. So I think it's a work in progress.
Well, and I think to add to that, and just being an outsider and watching other teams play, to me, basketball is such a game of rhythm. And when you're not in rhythm and there's not really a normal schedule, in addition to that, preparing in the non-conference, and in your situation, your team only just a couple of non-conference games, it's kind of hard to determine what you're going to see out there on the hardwood.
No, you're right, Alex. I think it all kind of goes into play, right? Like, just the rhythm part is a big piece, and that's what was so unfortunate about us getting shut down, this the most recent time, because I felt like we were really getting into a rhythm. I thought we were getting better every day. And the team was, I really liked where we were at. So now we have to come out and try to pick up from where we left off.
Coach, really appreciate you giving us a few minutes. We look forward to your team getting back up and going, and good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
But before I let you go, anything that you'd like to pass along to our Flyer fans?
Just thank them as always. It's been a little bit different this year. We miss seeing them, at Chalk Talks. Yeah, obviously our team misses, the UD Arena being full and it being such a great home court advantage. And it's weird. It's weird not having, those thousands of screaming fans, and when you run out the tunnel or when it's a close game. So, we just appreciate them and sticking with us and supporting us this year from kind of afar. But can't wait to get them all back, and let's get through this COVID. I want everyone to stay safe, stay healthy, and we can't wait to see them next year, and at the arena, and at our Chalk Talks and at our other events.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
For more information, go to DaytonFlyers.com.